Hi, welcome to another plot shot. I'm Mike Gretzinger. We're here at the rotational study. So this is the third and final year of this study for one iteration. We have a second iteration underway already. And what we've done with these plots is we've had 9 precursor plots. So we've had wheat, barley, peas, durum, hemp, quinoa, and a whole host of things. And we've seeded large blocks in year 1. And then we seeded strips across perpendicular in year 2. And so that's going to give us a 3-year rotation. And our 3rd year here, we've got durum on top. And this is where all the magic happens. So the point of this study is looking at a number of different disease factors. And one of the main objectives is to see whether or not these rotations and which rotations are going to best control Fusarium head blight. So one of the tasks we're working on today is going back and forth between all these rows and looking at 100 different heads. So we're going to assess 100 heads, look at each one and see whether or not we've got the classic bleaching or the kind of the pinkish orange spores showing within the heads. In a couple weeks, once these are a little more mature, we'll also clip a whole bunch, and these are going to get sent in for analysis, as well as the grain when we're finished harvesting. And then we're going to be checking out for the DON and mycotoxin percentages and assessing whether or not these are going to be a high quality or differences in grading factors based on the previous rotation. So that's one of our main objectives here of this study. A secondary objective is looking at all the leaf diseases, and that's what they're busy collecting right behind us right now. So there's been a lot of leaf disease come through southern Alberta recently. If I open up this canopy, you can see a lot of different things going on. So we're looking at durum right now. Up on the upper leaves, there's some interesting things we haven't really seen before, at least around here I haven't seen very often. This looks like a bacterial streak, so we've got some samples in getting tested. That's not something I ordinarily would see. We do see a lot of stripe rust more often. And so we've got some stripe rust forming, and we've got some different scales, so we can judge kind of the susceptibility based on how much rust and is still on the leaf. So that's our stripe rust. We've also got some tan spot and septoria here. And one really interesting disease that we've seen this year that we haven't in the past is powdery mildew. So powdery mildew has kind of come in from the lower part of the canopy. And it actually seems like it's not as bad as it was a few weeks ago. It was really hot and humid here. It's been a little windier and drier in the last couple weeks, or in the last couple days, sorry. And I'm not sure how, there's not really any fungicides or anything to treat this, so I'm not sure if maybe it just starts to go away. I have to look into powdery mildew a bit more. This is the first time we've had it on site here in really quite a while. So I've got some different rating scales. There's a lot of assessments obviously here to do. One of the things we'll do is we'll come in, we'll pick a plant, and then there's this McFadden scale. So what we're doing is we're evaluating basically the upper, the middle, and the lower canopy for overall disease. And so I've got a severity index here. We can look at the top leaf and kind of estimate a percentage of leaf disease. So in this case, maybe 5 or 6%. Then on my middle leaf here, I've got quite a bit of rust and maybe a little septoria showing through. I don't think it's more than definitely not more than 25% of my leaf. And then down here, I'm starting to get really diseased out on their very bottom leaf, and this second from the bottom, probably up around 50%. So we've got a scoring scale here, and I think I'm going to give this plot or this plant here an 8. So we're going to go through, do a whole bunch of these ratings. The idea is that some diseases are going to be obviously windborne and blow in. Others are going to be residue bound. And so this is going to give us an overall idea of the disease load within each treatment. And then we've got some more kind of intensive rating that we're doing. So we're collecting a number of leaf samples from each plot to do plate testing on and for kind of visual confirmations. And then we're looking at the flag leaf and penultimate leaves and scoring them individually as well. So if I'm to take a flag leaf here, we've got a couple of different scales, and the way they work is that, you know, visually your eye is really good at picking up 1, 2, 3%. As you get closer to say 11, 12%, closer to 25, your margin of error goes up, and so the scales are built that way with that in mind. So, you know, looking at this, I've got a little bit of dark spotting, not more than 1 or 2%, and my first category is basically 0 to 3. I'm gonna give this a 0 to 3% for my flag leaf. And then I'm gonna look at my penultimate leaf here. Oh boy, I haven't done this in a while. So, you know, if you were to visually imagine all of this disease coming down to one end of the leaf, you have to think about maybe how much total disease is going to be there. I'm definitely well under 50. Am I at 25? I think I'm still below 25, definitely 10 or 15. So the scale's set up to kind of allow me that. So I'll give this a 4. That's a 12 to 25%. So we're going through scoring all the leaf disease within these plots. And we have seen some interesting things on year 2. I believe there was some significant difference in the barley plots. Nobody's done a year 3 yet, so we'll be excited to see what happens here. Stay tuned.